Hello, this is Susan of the North for the week with the Rune of the Day, weekly overview for January 19th through the 25th. The runes are a little bit unsettled this week. On the 19th, we have Iwaj. This is the rune of rising and falling. Moods change, they rise and they fall. Circumstances change, they rise and they fall, often based upon the energies in the surrounding groups that we might be part of. For the 20th, there is movement, but it's sideways. This rune is always a positive one, even whether it's reversed or upright. Sideways, it just means the flow of the mood or the flow of the moment, the flow of the energy is slowing down. And we have a point of stillness reflected in this rune. This is a variant on the rune Menage in some of the Futharks, or it's also a variant on the rune Yera, which things flow in cycles. When we have seasons, we have the seasons from winter to spring to summer to fall, when things are very slow and then they're in the period of gestation. So we can be looking for things to be happening. We have Martin Luther King Day on Monday. We have the presidential inauguration, which a lot of the people I know have been disappointed about the outcome of the election. And it's really pointing out to us that it's a time to take a stand for what we believe in, what we want to see happen. But it also could be a point of compromise, of finding ways to work across the aisle, although I'm not sure whether we aren't too polarized for that to happen right now. But the rune for the 22nd, Wednesday, is Wunyo reversed. This is the rune of suffering. This is the rune of things not feeling good, of suffering, of needing to look at what needs to change for us to rise up again. Remember, the week began with Awaj, and we want to rise up. We don't want to settle for things that are inhumane, things that are too authoritarian, things being told to go against our own personal grain of integrity. So, what the runes are speaking to, the human collective, we are struggling right now. We are polarized between extremes of good, or let me change that, extremes of light and darkness. And to resolve that, to resolve the problems that we have created on our planet, to resolve the problems that we have created in our own hearts, in our own minds, we need to form a spiritual foundation for ourselves. And that really means taking on a daily practice of whatever it is for you that gives you a sense of spirituality, a sense of connectedness, a sense of centeredness, groundedness, earthiness in these turbulent times. And the rune I have drawn for Thursday, the 23rd, is the foundation rune. This is Stan, the stone. I always think of the builder's stone, and to form a foundation means to have a steady practice. You cannot be spiritual occasionally. It needs to be something you take into your mind, into your heart, your devotion to a power higher than yourself by whatever name that is for you. We can call it God across the board. It's applicable to many religions, but the name of God changes too with language and time. That doesn't mean we cannot identify it as the best that is in us and the best that is in other people. One of the practices I try to have is to see the good in people, whether I agree with them or not, to find ways to communicate that are peaceful and gentle and kind. I was talking to a client today about building a spiritual foundation, and I think it's very necessary. I sort of developed a mentality for myself, for my own work, my own daily spiritual lifestyle practice of having four pillars. One is to take one day at a time, because if I go beyond that, I will feel overwhelmed by the scope of everything that is going on around me in politics, in financial security, in the world as itself, climate change, just everything. So I take one day at a time. And then for me, having a spiritual lifestyle practice means a daily prayer practice. So I set myself to have a morning prayer. That is one thing I absolutely will not miss. And I like to do it in an indigenous style, as the Native Americans have shared, to go out in nature. Oh, Creator, I am Susan. Thank you for another day of life. Thank you for shelter and food, and thank you for the elements. Thank you for the waters. Thank you for the fire. Thank you for the air. Thank you for the earth that is home to us all. Thank you to all my relations for sharing this life and this breath with me. And that brings me to Friday. The rune is Os. This is in the Anglo-Saxon Futhark. This is the god rune. This is Odin. It's reversed. This is the river mouth. We have forgotten in our patriarchy, in our collective pursuit of the material, in our longing for a lifestyle of the rich and famous, we have forgotten our source. Spirit in Latin means breath. In the Christian tradition, Holy Spirit, holy breath. The Hindus have prana. The Hebrews have the ruach. It's the same thing. This is the holy breath. This is the life force that animates you and I. How can we hate our brothers when we share the same life force? How can we ignore the consciousness of nature when we share the same life force? Human beings are part and parcel of nature. We are not above it to dominate it. We are part of nature, and we need, I believe so strongly this, that I am being emphatic about it. I'm on my soapbox, I'm preaching. I think we need to find our reverence for life again, for nature, for the shared values that we all have. And one of the things that has languished, and this is the rune for Saturday, the 25th, Berkano, the divine feminine, is reversed here. We need to honor women. Why has America elected a president that doesn't respect a woman's right to self-care for her own body, for her own life, her readiness to bring life into the world? Why are we being told that we have to endure, um, for example, pregnancies that are not good for our health because, oh, to take the life of a baby, oh my God. No, it's not about that. It's about having the resources to care and love for that child in the right way. You can force women to bring children into the world, but how often have these people that take this pro-life stance really cared about maintaining that life after it came into the world? If a woman is on welfare because she has too many children, you're the first one to scream at her, get a job. But what if there's not a job? What if her best job is to stay home and love and raise those children? We need to rethink our values. We need to return to a viewpoint that honors the divine feminine. Because if we can do that in the ancient societies, people looked upon the sky god and the earth as the goddess. This is our home. We have polluted it. We have populated it with plastic. We have committed genocide. And I don't care what society you look at, whether you're looking at Nazi Germany and the Jews, or whether you're looking at America and the treatment of the indigenous peoples here, or Australia and the indigenous peoples there, or just across the board. A privileged few, a wealthy few, have taken advantage of peoples who maybe cared more about raising their families in a simple, loving way. We need to look at the whole picture. It's like I dreamed of an eagle the other night, and he was young and he was playful, but he still held the long view. I think this is an invitation to humanity to return to our roots of playful, spiritual indigeny. The runes are beautiful because they come from Indo-European tradition of things that were handed down from white indigeny and before Christianity dominated the face of Europe and obliterated the ways of a people within their roles of nature. I could be speaking to this better. I'm speaking to this in an impassioned way. I don't want to step on anybody's feet or step on anybody's religion. I just want to say that we all have common roots. We have breath that we share in common. We have a body that was created out of the sexuality and capacity of the earth to nurture us. When we care about our children, we raise them in the way in which they should go. There's just so many good things in humanity that it seems to me a real shame to allow our biases or conditioned beliefs that may or may not have a basis in reality to affect how we see our lives and the lives of those around us. So, all I am asking people to do is to think about things, feel things through. If you are afraid, understand it, understand what it is you're afraid of, because then you have the tools to deal with it. If you feel blessed, share that. The world needs a lot more happiness. And yes, I'm on my soapbox tonight, and I apologize if I'm coming across as too preachy, but I feel that this is too important, too valid a point to shut up about. I will leave you tonight with the runes for the 19th of January through the 25th of January. And when the world gets crazy and chaotic, go within, take a deep breath, think about all that is good in your life. Let that breath out. The world still feels crazy, take another breath. Center yourself in today. Center yourself in this moment. I am. I have a body that is the host to my mind and my heart. I have a voice. I'm speaking out. I read the runes. I am Susan Hintz Epstein, also known as Susan of the North. I care deeply about consciousness expanding so that we can grow as a collective, become more spiritual, and create a better condition for living on our earth home for all beings, not just humans, all beings, with respect to the trees, to the oceans, to the waters, to all the beings that dwell above and below the sea, all of it. Okay, I'm getting off my soapbox, and I'm wishing you a beautiful week ahead. No matter what happens, find your center, stay grounded, know what you stand for. And if you choose to pick up a spiritual lifestyle, remember the living one day at a time, being present. If prayer is your thing, like it is mine, honor what you believe in, love your tribe, stay strong in the ways that you know are right, no matter how other people are pushing you to go. Again, I'm Susan of the North, Susan Hintz Epstein, and may your week be blessed.